Before I get into my presentation, I do want to send some thanks to some people. I want to thank Don's immediate predecessor as county chair, Mike Rainey, for kicking my butt back in March to convince me to run. I want to thank everyone staffing our office out on Main Avenue, especially Kevin Moxley. Not too long ago, Kevin moved out here from downstate Illinois and has taken the initiative on all sorts of things, including social media, keeping us informed on events and coordinating staffing of the office, even doing the presentation you have back here. He's been the swizzle stick this organization has needed for quite some time. The only bad thing about him is he doesn't live in my district. I want to thank one of our former county chairs here tonight, Gene Meyer. Gene was county chair back when I was president of Idaho Young Democrats some 30 years ago, and has been a supporter of mine ever since. In a few weeks, she's moving to Montana. So I guess this is goodbye and good luck. Thank you for everything. Finally, I want to thank someone in this room who's not even a Democrat. My partner, Don Begatino. Don has been accompanying me to these events repeatedly over the last year and a half. Now here's the thing, Don is much more charming and personable than I am. Maybe next time she should be the candidate. I'm kidding. Maybe. Tonight I want to talk to you about two generations. As Don mentioned, I have been involved in Democratic politics for quite some time. You may think my father was also a Democrat, but I can assure you he was not. But what West Startin was the very embodiment of this community for many, many years. Some of you in this room may have known him. Dad grew up in Burley, met my mother at Idaho State, and moved to Twin Falls in 1967 to take a job with the old Twin Falls Bank and Trust. By the time I came around in the early 70s, Dad was beginning to establish himself as what he would eventually become best known for in the community, a pretty good golfer. And also an insurance agent. For over 4 decades, first in Kimberly, and later in Twin Falls, Dad ran an insurance business. From 2005 until 2008, I had the pleasure of working with him professionally. And while I was pretty good, I led the entire state in non-standard auto insurance with sales one year. It was clear who the wisest Startin was in the office. I can honestly say my dad forgot more about insurance than I ever did. Like most of Twin Falls during his time, Dad was solidly Republican. I distinctly remember having Jim Jones for Congress bumper stickers on my little red wagon as a kid. So was my mother. Years later, she admitted to me that she once voted for Jimmy Carter. But other than that, they were both pretty reliably red votes. But more importantly, Dad was a moderate. He was dismissive at best of people like Walter Mondale and Al Gore, even Barack Obama. But he consistently had one word for the ridiculous and awful horrible policies of the far right: ignorant. Dad was much more interested in working with local community leaders to find pragmatic solutions to business issues, to growth issues, to ag issues. He wasn't about to waste his time on culture wars or tolerate those who did. He was about getting it done, and so am I. I'm pretty sure Dad's last Republican vote for president was for John McCain in 2008. After that, he became increasingly disillusioned. In 2012 and 2016, he voted for Gary Johnson. While no fan of the Clintons by any stretch of the imagination, he also made no secret of his distakes for Donald Trump. And while one can only speculate, I believe that had he lived long enough to do so, he would have voted for Joe Biden in 2020. This past May, the Twin Falls Republicans completely cast aside the moderate mantle they successfully ran with locally for many, many decades. Just like that. We're taking it back. We're taking it from them. I realize apart from being my good friend Mr. Oath, the candidate list is lacking this year. But make no mistake, that won't be the case next time. I know there are several people in this room who will see to that. Now, the 8-month-old who Don mentioned, my daughter Evelyn, so we call her Evie, is now 19. She will be voting for the first time this year. And she's a registered Democrat. I didn't have to tell her to do that. Evie wanted to be here tonight, but she had to work. Evie went to school here through 6th grade, after which she moved to the Boise area with her mother. Now, true story. Her kindergarten teacher circa 2010 was Clarence Blau's daughter. One thing I'd like to say about Evie, once she decides on a course of action, she just carries it through, never seeking recognition for it. She's very much like her grandfather in that regard. A few weeks ago, I helped her get set up with her very first apartment out in Meridian. Kaylee, she's got you. Like many first-time renters in Idaho, she needed parental help, and she needed a roommate. She had a boyfriend, has a boyfriend, she's been fairly serious with for some time. At first, I just assumed they were going to move in together. Oh no, we're not ready for that just yet, she says. Okay. I'm moving in with my friend. I won't mention this person's name right now, but it's rather an androgynous name. I just assumed this person was a girl that Evie went to high school with. But as it turns out, this person is a guy. Hold up. You're moving in with the guy who's not your boyfriend? Her reply to that took me somewhat by surprise, but it probably should. Yeah, he recently came out as LGBT, and his home life has been terrible ever since. I'm helping to get him out of that situation. This is the sort of spirit we need in Idaho. A spirit of pragmatism, moderation, compassion, and inclusiveness. It is time to go back to the communities and once again work for sensible solutions to common problems. To say yes to Proposition 1 and open primaries. I'm the only registered candidate in this town that says that, by the way. To say yes to property tax reform. To say no to attacks on the LGBT community, our women, our libraries, and our teachers. The other side likes to paint us Democrats as big government. I tell you what, after what's happened in the Idaho legislature over the past couple of years, this Democrat is all about repeal, baby, repeal. Repeal the library bill. Repeal restrictions on a woman's right to choose. Finally, for me, Idaho is about family. In the words of the late Neil Peart, it's about the families who ground us, those who remain, and those who will go. Absentee ballots are in the mail. Here's mine. And this election is just over a month away. I ask for your vote because Twin Falls deserves a real choice. Thank you.